through this journey of looking at diversity through the lens of hybridity and cross-culture psychology. Hybridity and cross-culture psychology both fosters diverse identities, promoting cultural exchange and understanding. And it's just so beautiful to see that there's just so much potential in it. It has challenges as well, but it's beautiful to see Yak's Kitchen here in Bangalore. It's beautiful to experience appam and muru curry here in Bangalore. It's beautiful to be able to access and experience cultures in diverse manner. And this is exactly what hybridity and cross-culture psychology fosters and looks upon. With looking at hybrid culture, we're looking at what happens when cultures intertwine, intermix, and happen to migrate within each other and around each other. Enjoy this journey and have a good time.
My theory is all about journey and the recording on how this cross culture psychology and how it explore the vibrant interconnection between culture, art, tradition, and belief in India. Most of the time, the Indians experience and expresses themselves when they examine how art, tradition, belief system shapes identities, even how it influences behavior and inform the worldview about the cultural ideas.
Everybody. So this is Shanaka, and today again I'm here with Denzel. Hello, Denzel. So we'll be talking a little about cross-culture psychology and what hybridity does to us, basically. So could you tell me a little bit about the cultures that you're coming from?
Right. So when people ask me where I'm from, I usually just tell them I'm South Indian because it's easier to explain than telling them that my mother is half Tamilian, half Kannadiga, and my dad is half Goan, half Malayali. So essentially, I just say I'm South Indian. So that is essentially the culture that I come from.
So there's a mix of cultures, okay? Kannadiga, Tamil, Goan, and Malayali. Yes. So could you tell us a little about your experiences as someone who's between all of these cultures?
Yeah. So I think the first time I figured out that I have this sort of abilities in school, we asked to pick our mother tongues and other mission forms.
Yes.
I was in 4 schools for the entirety of my education thingy, and in each school we picked a different mother tongue because we weren't totally sure what the list is. Because when I asked my father what his mother tongue was, he wouldn't have a convincing answer either. The same thing with my mother. So I think language has been my biggest experience with hybridity. The way we communicate at home, for example. If my family is angry, we'll yell at each other in Tamil. If we're doing something religious, it's mostly Kannada. Malayalam, I don't speak. We speak only when my dad's relatives come over. And Konkani, even my dad speaks very poorly. So we don't even try with that, which is a shame.
Yeah, so I can actually relate a lot when you're talking about language. Even I was somewhere between them for a very long time.
My brother, there's no single culture that we belong to because if we go talk to Malayalis, there's a lot of things that we don't have in our household, like let's say certain festivals or certain things that are followed in their house, or let's say if we call ourselves Tamil, in that sense we can't belong there because we don't speak the language, we've never learned it. So in that sense, there is a sort of hybridity, right? And I think it's easier in Bangalore because around us there are a lot of people who come from similar backgrounds. They have roots in various places and there's no fixed home, right? It's migrating to different places. So in that sense, I think it's easier to fit in a place like Bangalore because there's a lot of hybridity.
Yes. And do you think placing yourself in an environment which sort of pushes you to fit in, right? The hybridity, I think, does that to you. Do you think, in a way, for you personally, you've sometimes tried to come up with versions of things for yourself to make things easier? Could be the way you understand or the way you sort of talk about certain things that's culturally very intact. Like, could be Tamil culture or Malayali culture in terms of food, language, or the way you address people or elders. Is there anything as such?
So I think when I was growing up in Andhra and here, there was no pressure to fit in because I was an outsider in both cultures, right? So no one's going to ask me about the culture. But when I moved to Kerala, it was different. So I had to learn the language. I was kind of bullied, kind of taunted for not knowing the language. So I had to learn the language within like 1 or 2 years. Then also with respect to food, we had to adapt quite a bit because in our household we cook in mustard oil, and that's like an alien thing in Kerala. So when we shifted there, we started cooking more with coconut oil, things like that, right? Even with religious practices, my parents weren't that religious, but when we moved to Kerala, because people started questioning so much, they began practicing certain things that we wouldn't do before.
Hello everybody, again this is Shubhama and I'm here with Eva today. Hello Eva. Hi. So could you tell me a little about your culture and your background, family background that you're coming from?
I'm from Kerala. So my parents are from Kannur and they are Roman Catholics. So we follow the very traditional system of Catholicism.
Okay, could you tell me a little about how long has it been in Kerala?
It's been about 4 years now.
Okay, so let's talk about your experiences here. In the time span of 4 years, do you see around you? Do you come across any such experiences in your everyday life where you see cultures being practiced slightly differently here than the way it is done back home?
I feel like in Bangalore you see a more modern twist into all cultures because almost all culture of people stay here. So it's like you see a mix of everything and you get a taste of everything.
Yes.
So I feel like more than them celebrating things at home, it's like everyone's invited and you can go around somewhere and then celebrate the same occasion.
Okay, so when you're talking about mix, we're basically bringing in hybridity and cross-culture psychology again. So what about the way in which, could you give us an example, the way in which food is prepared or the way in which, festivals are celebrated?
In my case?
Yeah.
So
Do you see any differences?
So like for example, taking Onam, which is like a huge celebration in Kerala, it's all based on the first farming products that you get after like a whole agriculture season, and it's everything natural and stuff. So moreover, like how people like make fun of Keralites using a lot of coconut oil. It's the same thing, but then it makes the food delicious. So I feel like there's like a difference in the preparation of food in Karnataka as well because they bring in a lot of Karnataka style.
Again, a lot of mixture.
So it's like a fusion of both Kerala and Karnataka styles.
Oh, okay. So thank you so much for your time, Eva, and it was good to have you. Thank you.